The man's name was Tom. Most people did not know his name. They only knew him as the quiet homeless man who lived near the old bus stop on River Street. Every morning, Tom woke up before sunrise. He folded his thin blanket, placed it carefully inside his worn backpack, and stood up slowly. His knees hurt from sleeping on the hard ground, but he never complained. He believed complaining did not change anything. Tom had not always lived on the street. Years ago, he had worked at a small repair shop. He fixed radios, fans, and old televisions. He liked working with his hands. It made him feel useful. But when the shop closed and his landlord raised the rent, everything changed. One bad month turned into many bad months. Soon, Tom had nowhere to go. Still, he kept his habits. He stayed clean. He spoke politely. He never begged. He collected cans and bottles and sometimes helped shop owners sweep the sidewalk for a few coins or a meal. That morning felt colder than usual. The wind moved through the empty street, carrying the smell of trash and wet pavement. Tom pulled his jacket tighter and walked toward the large dumpster behind a closed grocery store. He often checked there because people threw away food that was still good. He climbed onto a broken crate and leaned over the edge of the dumpster. Inside were black trash bags, cardboard boxes, and loose papers. He began searching slowly, carefully, as he always did. At first, he found nothing useful. Then his hand touched something hard and smooth, not like food or metal. He pulled it out. It was a thick black bag. It felt heavy, much heavier than normal trash. Tom frowned. He had learned to be careful. Sometimes heavy bags meant broken glass or sharp objects. He opened the bag just a little. Inside, he saw stacks of paper wrapped with rubber bands. At first, he did not understand what he was seeing. His mind struggled to accept it. Then he noticed the familiar green color and the printed faces. It was money. Real money. His heart started beating fast. Tom closed the bag quickly and looked around. The alley was empty. No cars. No people. Only the sound of the wind. His hands shook as he opened the bag again, this time more carefully. Inside were stacks and stacks of cash. Each bundle was thick and clean. There were no signs of dirt or damage. Tom sat down on the crate. He felt dizzy. He counted one bundle slowly. Then, another. His eyes widened. He stopped counting when he realized the number was far beyond anything he had ever imagined. It was millions of dollars. Tom closed the bag and held it close to his chest. His thoughts raced. His life could change forever. No more sleeping on cold ground. No more hunger. No more being invisible. But fear followed the excitement. Why would someone throw this away? Who did it belong to? Was it safe? Tom had lived on the streets long enough to know that money like this often came with trouble. He did not want trouble. He just wanted peace. He stayed there for a long time, thinking. The cold no longer bothered him. His mind was too busy. Finally, he stood up. He placed the bag inside his backpack and walked away from the dumpster. He did not run. He did not act strange. He walked like he always did, calm and quiet. He went to the public park near the river and sat on a bench under a large tree. Families used the park during the day, but early in the morning it was empty. Tom watched the water move slowly. He remembered his mother's voice from long ago. She always told him that doing the right thing mattered, even when life was unfair. Still, the temptation was strong. He imagined renting a small room, buying warm clothes, eating a full meal every day, helping others like him. The thoughts felt warm and painful at the same time. Hours passed. People began walking through the park. Some looked at Tom and quickly looked away. Others ignored him completely. Tom made a decision. He stood up and walked toward the city library. Inside the library, there was a small public office desk near the entrance. A woman named Anna worked there. She often smiled at Tom and allowed him to read newspapers even when others complained. Tom approached the desk slowly. Anna looked up. "Good morning," she said kindly. Tom swallowed. "I need help," he said softly. She noticed his serious expression and nodded. "What kind of help?" Tom placed his backpack on the floor but did not open it. "I found something," he said. "Something important." Anna hesitated. "Is it dangerous?" "No," Tom replied. "But it is not mine." She studied his face. She could see he was scared and honest at the same time. Anna called the office manager, a calm man named Robert. They went into a small room together. Tom closed the door behind them. With shaking hands, Tom opened his backpack and pulled out the black bag. He placed it on the table and slowly opened it. Anna gasped. Robert went silent. They stared at the money in disbelief. "Where did you find this?" Robert asked carefully. "In a trash dumpster," Tom answered. "Behind the grocery store." Robert leaned back in his chair. "This is a very large amount of money." Tom nodded. "I know. That's why I'm here." Anna looked at Tom with wide eyes. "You could have walked away," she said. Tom looked down. "I thought about it. A lot. But I could not." Robert made a phone call. He contacted the city authorities. He explained everything clearly and calmly. They asked Tom to wait. Minutes felt like hours. Tom's stomach tightened. He worried they might think he had stolen the money. He worried they would treat him badly because he was homeless. When two officials arrived, they spoke gently. They listened to Tom's story and checked the bag. They asked him the same questions more than once, but Tom answered honestly every time. Finally, one of the officials smiled slightly. "You did the right thing," he said. Tom felt his shoulders relax for the first time that day. The officials took the bag and thanked him. They explained that the money would be investigated. If no owner came forward, there were rules about what would happen next. Tom did not ask questions. He only nodded. When everything was finished, Anna handed Tom a warm cup of tea. "I'm proud of you," she said quietly. Tom held the cup with both hands. His fingers were still shaking, but now from relief, not fear. As he left the library, the sun was higher in the sky. The city felt different. Not because his life had changed yet, but because he knew something important. For the first time in years, Tom felt seen. And unknown to him, his choice that morning was about to change not only his life, but the lives of many others as well. The next morning, Tom woke up under the same old bridge near River Street. The cold ground felt the same. The sounds of traffic were the same. But inside him, something had changed. For the first time in years, Tom felt nervous in a new way. Not fear of hunger or weather, but uncertainty. He kept asking himself what would happen next. The money was no longer with him, yet it felt like it still followed him everywhere. As the sun rose, Tom folded his blanket and walked toward the soup kitchen. He did not tell anyone what had happened. On the street, news traveled fast, and not all attention was good attention. Inside the soup kitchen, volunteers served warm meals. Tom sat at his usual table. He ate slowly, tasting every bite. Across the room, a small television was playing the morning news. Tom barely noticed it until he heard a familiar sentence. City officials are investigating a large amount of money found discarded in a downtown dumpster. Tom froze. His spoon stopped halfway to his mouth. The reporter continued speaking. Authorities confirmed that a local homeless man turned the money in without hesitation. Officials are calling the act honest and rare. Tom lowered his spoon. People around him started whispering. Some looked surprised. Others shook their heads in disbelief. Tom stood up quietly and walked outside. His heart was beating fast again. By midday, the story was everywhere. Radios talked about it. Newspapers printed short articles. People shared it on their phones. Some called Tom a hero. Others doubted the story. A few said no one would really do such a thing. Tom tried to avoid attention. He spent the afternoon at the library reading old magazines. Anna saw him enter and smiled warmly. "You've become famous," she said gently. Tom looked uncomfortable. "I did not want that." "I know," Anna replied. "But people need stories like yours." Later that day, Robert called Tom into the office again. Two officials were waiting. One of them was a woman named Linda, calm and serious. "We have updates," Linda said. Tom sat down quietly. "The money is clean," she explained. "It is not linked to any illegal activity. We believe it belonged to a man who recently passed away. He had no known family." Tom listened carefully. "There is a legal process," Linda continued. "If no rightful owner is found within a set time, a portion of the money may be rewarded to the person who turned it in." Tom blinked. "A portion?" "Yes," she said. "It is part of the law." Tom felt confused. "I did not do it for money." Robert smiled. "We know. That is why this matters." Days passed. Tom returned to his routine, but the city around him felt different. People started noticing him. One morning, a woman offered him coffee. Another day, a man shook his hand and said thank you. Some people left notes in his cup, not money, but kind words. Tom did not know how to handle it. Praise felt heavy. A week later, the mayor invited Tom to a small public event. Tom almost refused, but Anna encouraged him. "They want to thank you," she said. "Let them." The event was held in a modest hall. No bright lights. No loud music. Just people. The mayor spoke briefly. "In a world where trust feels rare, this man reminded us what honesty looks like." Tom stood on the stage, hands shaking. He wore a clean shirt that Anna had helped him find. Applause filled the room. Tom felt his face grow warm. He bowed his head. After the event, a reporter approached him. "Why did you do it?" she asked. Tom thought for a moment. "Because it was not mine," he said. "And because I still believe in right and wrong." The words spread quickly. Not everyone reacted kindly. Some online comments questioned his story. Others said he was foolish. A few claimed he should have kept the money. Tom did not read them. Anna advised him not to. "People fear what they do not understand," she said. One evening, Tom returned to the bridge and found a small group waiting. They were other homeless people he knew. A man named Sam, a woman named Rose, and an older man called Ben. Sam spoke first. "We heard what you did." Tom nodded. "You could have left," Rose said softly. "None of us would have blamed you." Tom looked at them. "I know. But I want something better for all of us." Ben smiled slowly. "You already gave us something. Hope." That night, Tom could not sleep. He stared at the dark sky and thought about his future. He did not want a big house or fancy things. He wanted stability. A small room. A workshop. A way to help others fix what was broken. 2 weeks later, Linda returned with news. "The waiting period is over," she said. "No one claimed the money." Tom held his breath. "By law," Linda continued, "a portion is yours." She placed an envelope on the table. Inside was a letter and a check. Tom's hands trembled as he looked at the number. It was more money than he had ever seen in his life. "This is too much," he whispered. "It is fair," Linda said. "And deserved." Tom left the office and sat on the steps outside. He stared at the paper until the numbers blurred. People passing by had no idea what had just happened. Anna joined him. "What will you do now?" she asked. Tom smiled faintly. "First, I will find a place to live." Within days, Tom rented a small room above an old hardware store. It was simple, clean, warm. He slept on a real bed for the first time in years. He cried quietly that night. But Tom did not forget the street. He used some of the money to help Sam find medical care. He helped Rose get proper documents. He bought warm blankets and meals for many others. Word spread again, but this time Tom did not mind. One afternoon, Tom stood outside a closed repair shop with a sign in the window. For rent. He stared at it for a long time. Inside his chest, an old dream woke up. Tom placed his hand on the door handle. And that simple movement marked the beginning of something even bigger than money. The old repair shop stood on the corner of Pine Street, quiet and forgotten. The sign above the door was faded, and dust covered the windows. Most people walked past it without looking twice. Tom stood there early in the morning, holding the key in his hand. The metal felt cold, but steady. He took a deep breath and unlocked the door. Inside, the shop smelled like oil and wood. Broken shelves leaned against the wall. Old tools lay scattered on a table, covered in dust. The place needed work, but to Tom, it felt familiar. It felt like home. He spent the first day cleaning. He swept the floor, wiped the windows, and fixed a loose shelf. His hands moved with confidence, as if they remembered every motion. 4 hours, he worked without stopping. By evening, the shop looked different. Not perfect, but alive. Tom placed a small sign on the door. Repairs and fixes, fair prices, honest work. The next morning, he opened the shop and waited. At first, no one came. Tom did not feel discouraged. He sat at the table and repaired an old radio he had found at a thrift store. Music filled the room, soft and warm. A man named Paul walked in around noon. He held a broken fan. "Can you fix this?" Paul asked. Tom smiled. "I can try." An hour later, the fan worked again. Paul smiled wide. He paid and thanked Tom twice before leaving. The next day, a woman brought in a lamp. Then a student brought a damaged speaker. Word spread slowly, but steadily. People noticed something else too. Tom never rushed. He explained every repair. He charged fair prices. Sometimes, if someone could not pay, he fixed the item anyway. Soon, people started asking about Tom's past. Some had heard the story. Others were curious. Tom never spoke much about the money. When asked, he only said, "It helped me stand up again." One afternoon, Sam walked into the shop. He looked healthier. His clothes were clean. "You did it," Sam said. Tom smiled. "I did not do it alone." Behind Sam came Rose and Ben. They looked around the shop with pride. "You built something," Rose said. Tom shook his head. "We are building it." Weeks passed. The shop became a place people trusted. Not just for repairs, but for conversation. People shared stories. They shared problems. Tom listened. One evening, Anna stopped by. "This place feels different," she said. "Good different." Tom poured her tea. "I want to do more." Anna raised an eyebrow. "More than this?" Tom nodded. "I want to help people get back on their feet. Like I did." With help from Anna and Robert, Tom learned how to register a small program. He called it Second Start. Second Start offered simple jobs, basic training, and support for people who had lost their way. The repair shop became the center. Sam was the first to join. He learned how to fix small appliances. Rose helped organize tools and keep records. Ben taught younger people how to use their hands and stay patient. The city noticed. One day, Linda visited the shop again. She looked around quietly. "You surprised everyone," she said. Tom smiled. "I surprised myself too." She handed him a letter. "The city wants to support Second Start. They want to help expand it." Tom's hands trembled as he read the letter. "This is too much," he said. Linda shook her head. "You showed us what honesty can build." News returned, but this time it felt different. People talked about change, about second chances, about choosing the right path. A year passed. The repair shop grew. A second location opened. Then a third. Second Start helped dozens of people find steady work and safe housing. Tom still lived simply. He kept the same small room. He walked to work every morning. He fixed things with his hands. One afternoon, a young boy entered the shop holding a broken toy. "Can you fix it?" the boy asked shyly. Tom knelt down. "Of course." As he worked, Tom noticed the boy watching closely. "Do you like fixing things?" Tom asked. The boy nodded. Tom smiled. "Then you already know something important." Later that day, Tom closed the shop and walked to the river. The sun was setting. The water reflected gold and orange. He sat on a bench and thought about the dumpster behind the grocery store. About the bag. About the choice. He understood something clearly now. The money did not change his life. The choice did. A small crowd gathered at the park for a community event celebrating Second Start. The mayor spoke again, but briefly. "This story began with money," the mayor said. "But it became about people." Tom was invited to speak. He hesitated, then stepped forward. "I was once invisible," Tom said. "But I was still responsible for my choices." "We all are." People listened in silence. "I did not keep the money," he continued, "because keeping it would have ended the story. Giving it back allowed a new one to begin." Applause filled the park. Later that night, Tom locked up the shop and turned off the lights. He stood for a moment, looking at the sign on the door. "Repairs and fixes, fair prices, honest work." He smiled. Across the street, Sam waved. Rose laughed with customers. Ben told a story to a group of kids. Tom walked home under the quiet sky. Once, he had been a man sleeping under a bridge. Forgotten by most. Now, he was something else. Not rich. Not famous. But trusted. And that was worth more than millions.